Hello. Hello. Anyone around here speak basketball?
This is Abby Silver.
Vision 6-9. Welcome to the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast. I am your host, Freddie Rivas. And who, sir, looking good in Raptors gear are you?
I'm your producer. I'm Matt Duncan. Freddie, how you doing? Last one before the holidays. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm feeling okay, you know?
Oh,
Is the
good.
answer. We got a really fun episode today. Thanks if you're tuning in for the first time, you're coming back. We are with Raptors Republic. Let's get going and bring these guests on, shall we, Maddie?
Let's do it.
Okay, so guest number one, I'm told he's coming in hot. He had some predictions that didn't sit well with our audience last time. In regards to the Raptors hitting their over. I literally bet on the over, so we'll see. Yeah, I'm not doing great. But he's an amazing comedian, one of my longest friends, incredible stand-up, writer. I mean, just like all-around talented dude. You can shoot well on the basketball court if that matters to you. Give it up as loud as you can, even if you're at home alone, for Adam Christie. Look, he's not even dancing. His screen's not frozen, guys. Look, you can see him blank.
I'm back.
Adam.
Most controversial guest in Confederacy of Dunks history.
Yep. Yeah, you're.
A guy called me a clown, Freddie.
I know. I saw in the
Another guy
comments.
called me a smug clown.
Yep. And I didn't back you up. I just let it happen.
Yeah, you were nowhere to be found in any comment section about that episode of the podcast.
No. I did, however, really enjoy the show. A friend of ours, mutual friend of ours, Marco Multisanti, also a former guest of the pod, he came in, and then someone named Grandpa Jones or something, he came in. Things got really internet weird, you know? It was good.
Yeah, because we have a long standing with some of our oldest friends text thread, and someone, I think you mentioned on the thread that people were hating on me on this thing, and I was like, oh, that's pretty funny, because I do legitimately think it's funny, but Marco took it to another level, and I think had like a 5-turn argument with this random person who admitted, he's like, listen, this is a burner account that I shout at people with, and this is just what I'm doing. And Marco was like, fuck you.
Yeah, Marco's an electrician. He'll shock you to death.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad I have friends who would die on the sword for my takes.
Yeah, you need that. Okay, let's bring on guest number 2. Also a very good friend. Done the podcast, a solid number of times. He's one of the people who I talk basketball with the most. I've used his ideas as topics on the pod this year. Just an incredible comedian. Dare I say, one of the very best producers of comedy in the city / Canada. I know he's got a lot of fun stuff in the works. I'll let him plug that later. But please give it up as loud as you can, even if you're at home alone, for Dan Galea. Oh, he was reading. Cool.
Hi, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Hey. Hi.
What are you reading?
Rule of the Bone.
Cool.
Oh, okay. Is that one of the Bones books?
Yeah, it's one of the Bone Thugs and Harmonies. I think it's Crazy Bones audio biography. So,
wow.
Page 2. That's what I'm on.
Nice. Keep with it. Dan, how are you? Thanks for joining the pod again.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm great. I'm really, really good. I'm in the best shape of my life, and just been eating well and just kind of taking care of myself. Thanks for asking.
Good. Happy to hear, man.
Can I bring something up? before I've never seen myself with these headphones on. Isn't my head shape the classic alien head shape with these headphones on?
Yeah, you look like an alien, bro. I wasn't gonna say it.
Yeah.
Like perfect oval alien man.
Before we get into it, we are gonna do something special at the end of the pod. And Dan, this is your work, so I just want to let you introduce the concept to the audience.
Yeah, I asked all of the questions that Freddie gave us for the podcast to an AI, ChatGPT, and let it answer the questions, and came up with some really interesting answers. And yeah, I think you'll find them really interesting too.
Sweet. Well, we'll go over our highlights as our fifth and last bonus question. But let's dive into the Raptors. Matty, good sir, give me your weirdest Weird Al Raptor sting.
Hey, Bobby Webster.
Yep, that's weird. Somehow Weird Al seems more under duress than usual. I feel like Matt stretched out his voice.
Trust in Masai.
Right, class. That's a classic now. Masai. Just an offensive pronunciation of Masai's name. Shout out to Masai. Okay, let's go to you first, Adam Christie. Let's go to you first.
Oh God, okay.
So I'm going to start with a really good tweet from Blake Murphy. Everyone knows Blake Murphy, Raptors media legend. So he shared this after the Golden State loss, before the 76ers loss, a tweet. I'm just going to read it. This is only the 6th 5-game losing streak for the Raptors in the Ujiri era. Not quite unprecedented, but getting close. So we lost 9 and 7 games in the 21 season, the Tampa Tank. We lost 5 games in 2017. Afterwards, we ended up trading for making the Ibaka and Tucker moves. In 2015, it was a prelude to the Wizards sweep. And in 2013, Masai's first year, it ended up the Rudy Gay trade happened. And now this one. So my question is, this is now the third biggest losing streak in the Masai era. Adam, how do you think Bobby and Masai are going to respond?
I believe that they're going to wait for a little while. I don't think a major thing. I think if anything happened right now, it would be considered a panic trade.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about the situations. I, didn't look up the other situations where we had 5-game losing streaks and something happened right after. But we're missing our 2 top 5 guys in Precious, who's maybe like our 6th or 7th best player. So it is kind of an unfortunate losing streak, because also out of the last 6 losses, 4 of them have been within 4 points. So this losing streak has been a little bit unlucky, and obviously injuries have played into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like they hold pat. I don't think anything happens.
I think you're 100% right. We also have a lot of evidence of Masai and Bobby not operating in a panicky way, and if anything, really deciding to hold down the fort when things aren't going well. Right,
it's gonna be annoying. It already happened on the Low Post episode, 2 episodes again. But like it's like buckle up, because the Raptors are now the Indiana Pacers, and people are going to be looking at this team for scraps. Like, yeah, for the next week or so, or up until the holidays or after the holidays, like you're gonna be hear a lot of theoretical OG Anunoby trades. Like that's what we're in for the next 2 weeks to a month.
That's a great point. I think fans need to kind of buckle up and prepare for that, because I've said before, I really think that there's obviously the glamour markets, and the NBA has some of the most, if not the most, small markets in any of the major leagues in North America. And I understand that Toronto is not a small city, but in the American landscape, we are considered a small market. And I think for the longest time, we are sort of, we're kind of thought of as a feeder team. Mm-hmm. We're a team that, should strive to make things better for the Lakers or the Knicks and like sell low on our assets. And obviously Masai does not roll like that, but I think that's a very good point. I'm sure most of those trades, I mean, hell, in the summer, right? We saw a pick and Kevin Hart floated for OG Anunoby, who might be the defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
So I think, and then, in response to that, OG's name was then in rumors for KD. So I think I amongst other players as well, but I think Masai very much values his assets, and the people who pay close attention can expect there to be no panic moves. Where are you at, Dan? What do you think? Like, knowing Bobby, knowing Masai, do you think are you with Adam? Are we going to like wait and see, right? With Otto, Precious, and
I think they're going to panic trade, but I think that it's time to sell. I do agree with Adam and you guys. I think that it's going to be a thing where they have to wait and see what this team is, because it's just been like, even if people have come back from injury, like, I don't know about you guys, but like, I'm never the same right away. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when I'm sick, I'm like tired for a week. And it's like, think of these players like robots. And it's like, someone's sick and then they finally come back and you're like, why aren't they playing perfect? And it's like, well, maybe Fred's just still tired from being sick. You know what I mean? Like,
sure, yeah.
And there's a lot of just like human stuff that happens, I think, that gets kind of swept under rug, because you just want these players to play like the millions of dollars they're getting paid for, but really they're human, and when they get sick or injured, things aren't the same afterwards. So I think that they're going to wait and see what happens when this team actually is healthy and see what it looks like. But I do think if it's like, even close to what it is right now vibe wise, and the trade deadline comes, I could see like OG being possibly, like, if we're going to make a huge trade, I think he would be the person, like Adam was saying, that is going to be talked about a lot. But I also think Boucher could be on the chopping block, or Gary Trent, just because these are people that are always brought up during these times. So I don't know if those would happen, but Adam, what's up?
I'm just thinking people aren't as good when they come back from injuries. Dan, have you ever seen a movie called Rookie of the Year? You're a clown. You're a clown.
Adam's just taking it out on other guests.
Yeah. No, I have seen that movie, Adam, and I always thought that was just kind of a baseball thing that could happen. I didn't know that it was all sports, but yeah.
It is all sports, yeah.
No,
okay,
I
cool.
think, I forget what the exact injury is, but I wouldn't be surprised if, when Otto comes back, he can throw a basketball faster than anyone ever.
Breaks the backboard.
It's not going to help us score or run any plays, but he'll be able to like whip it hard. I think stay tuned for that. But I mean, I think this is sort of the measured take, right? We did some trade talk last week, and as Adam said, we'll kind of couch that for now, because whether we want to talk about it or not, I think the rest of the league is going to be, floating like, do you guys want to give up Pascal for a bag of chips, or like, so we're gonna have to like deal with that a lot, and also, for the fans that are panicking out there, hey, we've lost 6 games in a row. There's some legitimate reason for that. And Katie Heindel was on the pod last week, and she said, she felt like the problems, I thought it was well put, aren't existential, they're more practical, which I totally agree with. I think that's nice to know, but losing games sucks. And I had huge expectations for this team, particularly in the regular season. So I got some egg on my face right now anyways. But let's go to you, Dan, for the next question. And so this is sort of just dipping into some dark times here. We've all been Raptors fans for a very long time, and I'm wondering what your darkest time as a Raptors fan is. or was.
Yeah, I think there's darker times than the time I'm about to mention, but
Sure.
for me, like that like weird time when Vince Carter hated being here and he was refusing to dunk, which was like his whole thing. And
Yeah, that sucked.
yeah, that really sucked because it was like so frustrating. And also it's not like even with him playing his best, we were really competing for a championship that year or any year. So it was just like the team was just a team you were watching for fun with no real expectations. And then you had the guy that was the funnest player to watch on the team saying, I don't see why I should have to dunk. And he's like a dunk champion.
Yeah. No, that's a great answer. And I mean, it came out later, but apparently Vince was even, I mean, this is a rumor, obviously, but telling other teams the plays we were running.
Right. Like,
right.
That's
so
depressing.
Yeah, like that's bad, right? Like that's like, yeah, exactly. If Pascal comes out in front of the media and he's like, "Oh, just a heads up, I'm never spinning again," we'd be like, "Shit, that's like pretty great when you spin though." And he'd be like, "Yeah, I don't spin anymore. I'm working on another part of my game. It's only fadeaways." That would be rough. And I remember that. That was horrible. And I think part of my fear with with a star, and I don't think he has the same buildup and the team's different, but I've always been a little bit, I think part of my, I guess, trepidation around Scotty is like, yeah, what's he going to be like if things aren't going well, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not the sort of like the DNA of Fred and OG and Pascal. They've kind of gotten to the other side, won a championship, and they're not these like super high draft picks. So, obviously they weren't the rookie of the year sort of thing. Again, I don't want to project anything negative on Scotty because I feel like he has a good attitude. He's in a good system. And, so a lot of the Scotty critique is overblown this year. Yeah. He's, doing fine in his sophomore year, I think.
But also if he does anything but be a complete baby, that's huge. Because like, when I was like his age, I was like insane. You know what I mean? So it's like,
totally.
I don't understand how any young 20 anything with money who's like gotten so much hot air blown up them because they are legit good could possibly not be a little bit of a baby or a little bit whiny if things don't go right. I think as long as he can grasp it and eventually come around, that's all we can really hope for, because he's going to have moments where he's 22 or whatever how old he is, right? So it's like he's going to have those moments, those normal. Again, I always bring things right back to like these human things that just are like, man, this is just people. This is how people are. It's not about this guy being a superstar who like, is spoiled or anything like that. It's about him being a regular kid who has to deal
he's
with
21
and learn.
We're grown men. If you're a grown man and a 20-year-old who's not your son brings you joy, you shouldn't be allowed to be mad at that 21-year-old when he becomes 21.
Adam, how dare you? We as people are entitled to project our rage onto others in weird, creepy manners. No, but Adam, what's your, me and you, we used to, share season seats. We've been through some dark times.
Yeah, we had a falling out.
Yeah, we had a big falling out. That was like, I wasn't going to bring that up, but
that's why we don't share season seats anymore.
That's right. Adam
Freddie,
used to throw paper airplanes. No, yeah. What's your darkest time as a Raptors fan?
I thought about this a lot, and there have been a lot. There's been, the Wizards sweep.
Yes.
There's been star of the team, Andrea Bargnani, having 20 points a game. Signing Hito Turkoglu. Signing Jermaine O'Neal. But I think the darkest time for me was, remember when LeBron drank the beer? Remember when LeBron faked that he was drinking a beer when he was playing the Raptors in the playoffs? Something
and he also spun the ball in front of Serge.
Yeah.
Like Harlem Globetrotter style. He spun the ball.
He did stuff that you don't see players have the audacity to do in a preseason game in the NBA playoffs against the Toronto Raptors. And that was pretty much the LeBronto era of Raptors fans being so upset that the media didn't take us seriously, and the media was just like, well, LeBron's just going to kill this team. And we were like, no, he won't. And then he would every single year was pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Once you win the championship and you feel what a championship is like, you do realize that going to the playoffs and embarrassing yourself is bad.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's good experience for players to have sort of like high leverage competitive scenarios. But yeah, getting like the narrative, we were talking a little bit earlier about like the Phoenix Suns, right? And like that loss was devastating for them. The full team almost kind of like combusted on itself. I think Jay Crowder still hasn't returned. Not necessarily because they lost, but yeah, like there was some pretty big fractures on that team. And I think that, losing in such embarrassing fashion was a huge part of that. For me, I'm not getting too fancy with this. It is the Wizards sweep. There are a lot of options out there, a lot of dark times. I'm just going to go through quickly the scores. So we lost in OT, game 1. Ended up losing 93-86. Game 2, 117-106. Game 3, 106-99. So 17 points. And game 4 was 125-94. We lost by 31 points in game 4. That's probably the most irate I've ever been as a Raptors fan. I was furious with that was the Lou Williams 6th Man of the Year. And I was furious with Casey. I was demanding Casey get fired. No one was listening to me. Like I was just yelling at my friends. But that's like my most, just out of control. Because, it came after the Brooklyn year, right? Where we lost in game 7. It was so dramatic. And obviously Masai, didn't blow up that team and kind of kept with it. And, we had a championship a couple years later. But let's move to some NBA stuff. Maddie, good sir. It's all Weird Al stings now. Give me your weirdest Weird Al NBA sting.
This is Adam Silver.
Huge. This is Adam Silver. Honk. I'm also going to get Maddie D to pop on in.
All right.
Get the silly segment going here. Lots of fun stuff this year. We've already talked about the Beam in Sacramento. I've recently been made aware of the Memphis Big Walk, or the Big Memphis Walk. It's incredible. It's basically the team listening to one of their favorite songs, slowly walking down the hall and kind of jumping around and pointing around and just kind of being silly and weird. And I love it. You can tell teams are in a good place. Like, you're not going to see the Spurs do that right now, right? You're not going to see a team that's losing every game be like, hey, what if we get silly and walk down the hallway for 2 minutes before every game?
I don't know. That one guy has a one-handed free throw. They could get silly.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, they could all do the free throw for the rest of the year. That's a good way to tank, Yeah. People who want to tank, just instruct your whole team to shoot free throws with one hand. Also, shout out to that guy. I think someone in Dylan Gott pointed out, a friend of the pod, Dylan Gott, also has one of the most famous moments on here where he went missing during the middle of an episode. He was okay, but it was pretty dramatic and amazing.
Why did he go missing again? Oh, because he was at work. Oh,
yeah.
He was at work, but let's just
have that job anymore.
Yeah. Oh, he doesn't have that job. Okay. Yeah. He was at work and he got busted for being at work. It was great.
Doing a podcast at work.
And before the pod, he said, "I'll never get caught," which was so awesome. But anyways, he pointed out that the guy, oh God, what is his name? I'm gonna look it up. It might be Spokane. But yeah, I'll look it up in a second. But he has the same number as Rodman when he played with the Spurs, and he also has the bright green hair. And people were also editing on Twitter, like they're using his hair as green screen. So there's a lot of good stuff going down there. But back to the big Memphis walk. Maddie, I'm going to start with you. Pick a team, and I want a tunnel ritual of some kind. So give me a team. Give me their tunnel ritual.
Okay. I don't know if this makes any sense, but it's the visual that I have. I don't know if this needs to be made into some kind of tunnel float that the team is on, but I want the Miami Heat to be like riding Kyle Lowry's ass like a magic carpet to Will Smith music. And I know he's still a little bit of a contentious character right now, but we're gonna try and soften that a little bit more.
Yeah, let's work on his image. Thanks.
So we're gonna go hard on the slaps. Once the team like gets out to the court, they're just doing a bit of a Three Stooge slapathon through the anthems. So it's gonna really
a lot of slapping. Okay, yeah.
I want pies on the seats for the fans.
Sure.
So we could do a little bit of the throwing, and not every game, but just some. But yeah, I feel like, how could you not have some kind of goofy dance to Will Smith for the Miami Heat, right? Like, it's the most of any hip hop artist. It's the goofiest, right? And have
you specified which song yet?
No.
Isn't it the one Miami? Like, we're going to Miami.
Welcome to Miami. Yeah. Okay. It could be Men in Black, you know.
Now remember, Kyle riding Kyle Lowry's ass like a magic carpet. Very important visual. Don't know how we're gonna make that work, but it's important and it's a game breaker for me. So,
and they're slapping the ass during the
a lot of slapping all over the place.
I'd love to see the team slapping the ass and cutting to a veteran crying in the stands. It's like the most respectful thing you can ever do.
And if Miami ever goes to the West, like on a road trip, they could change the song to Wild Wild West.
Oh yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
And classic Matt. You started this off so well, and now I'm seeing there's a theme with a lot of Matt's ideas. Complete mess on the court. So he wants he wants everyone throwing pies, I guess, from all areas of the arena. So a lot of those pies they're not even hitting the floor.
I love it. I love when you're sitting there waiting for, the lights go out, speakers on fire. I just think it's great for the game.
Yeah. And you want people throwing pies from every direction. Yes. So a lot of people just in the stands getting hit by pies.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah. Let's make sure the pies are cold. Nobody needs to get burned.
No hot pies. No
hot pies. Okay. Everyone's getting scolded.
No hot pies.
Badly. No hot pies. Okay. Good. Great start. Let's go to you. Adam. What's your team? What's the ritual?
Unfortunately, Matt stole mine. Mine was a meat pie, though. Mine was like a shepherd's pie or a meat pie, though.
Sure.
Top to bottom, just everything I was about to say.
Perfect.
Wow. Okay. Well, Adam, if you have a backup, we'll come to you. But you know what? Yeah, sometimes these questions they get stolen, right? So,
my backup is just in the tunnel while the Lakers are getting ready. One of the lesser known players goes up to LeBron and goes, "What's my name?"
That's good. A LeBron quiz. And yeah,
does LeBron know Max Christie's name? I don't think he does.
Yeah, very. Oh, speaking of names, the Spur I was talking about was Jeremy SoCal or Social Sochan. Oh my god, I messed this up so many times. SOCHAN. Jeremy Sochan. I'm gonna say.
Wow. After making fun of Maddie for his pronunciation of Masai.
Yikes. Hey, that was Weird Al. That's a robot Weird Al.
Freddie? Clown.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, wow. I love how you heard Matt's idea and you're like, I'm going to save my clown call out for Matt. It's not that. That's a good idea. Slaps and pies. Okay, Galea. Dan Galea, what's up? Who's your team? What's the ritual?
This has to be the first time this has happened, but Adam actually took my answer.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding. my answer. I was saying the Brooklyn Nets should surround Ben Simmons and Kyrie Irving, and they should all jump up and down singing Britney Spears' "Toxic."
That sounds just like really. Oh, because they're toxic, right? I just thought it was a good.
There we
good
go.
call. Nice.
There we go.
That's good.
Yeah.
I went straight to every time I hear that reference, I'm like, what a good song. But no, right, yeah.
And then
The message of the song.
But they're like in the middle of the team, and they're like making homemade like Turkish delight in like a big vat.
This is good.
Yeah.
This is good. I'm glad that it wasn't complete
Complicated.
until you brought the idea of a vat in the tunnel.
Yeah.
So
Just a big steaming vat of homemade Turkish delight.
yeah, we'll get the same people who brought in Dwayne Casey's giant rock to ship that vat into the Brooklyn Nets arena.
Do you think he brought the Rock to Detroit?
100%. I think he brought it in, and the same people, same team, probably same install team. I'm
You
sure.
think when he got the job at Detroit, they were like, "So you're the head coach?" He's like, "Great, I will be the head coach." On one caveat, you got to move a big rock from Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. And then they were like, "Great, now that you have the rock in here, we're only gonna start to tank in 2 years." But so you have 2 years of just doing something. We'll get rid of Blake Griffin and we'll tank in 2 full years from now. Okay, my idea, pretty simple, just going with a name. Anyone who listens to this podcast a lot knows I love birds. We got the Atlanta Hawks. I want a Hawk released from the tunnel. A different player every game gets to be the person who kind of like, like sort of like a little bit of like a light, like, release the beam thing. But this is releasing a Hawk. One of my favorite things, my little brother used to work at Medieval Times. And there was a falcon that's part of a lot of the shows. And there'd always be a part of the show where the falconeer would come out and like the falcon would fly around. And my brother Thomas would tell me it was genuinely 50-50 whether the falcon would come back. So yeah, the falcon often would just go up in the rafters and the person would be like waiting and trying to get it to come back down. And if it was a good day, the falcon came back. If it was a bad day, the rest of that show went on with a falcon watching.
Can I just say that bird trainers like is the biggest scam in like the world? Like, I mean, because like what they don't tell you and like what you just assume if you don't talk to them is that like they have these birds trained to do like crazy things, right? But like every time I've ever used a bird trainer or talked to one, they just go, you're like, "Oh, can you get the bird to like jump off a branch?" And they go, "No." And then you're like, "Oh, you can't?" And they're like, "No, it's a bird. It does whatever it wants." And you're like, "Oh, okay. I thought they were trained." And no, it's just everything's a fluke.
Yeah, no, I think birds are really smart. The trainers only have food, and that's basically the relationship there. But yeah, no, I'm glad you took a moment there to slam bird trainers around the globe. Shame on them.
Ready, may I? May I?
Sure.
Dan?
Yeah.
Clown.
Wow. Second clown moment for Dan going after trainers. This is good. Okay. We have a special bonus question, but we're going to do our last question. Maddie D, thank you for starting the silly section off with ass slapping and pie throwing. Appreciate you. Okay. So, Adam, let me go to you on this one. Yes, what player so far? It's still, like I guess a third of the season. Not quite, but what player do you think is having the best redemption year?
Freddie, I'm glad you asked. My answer is a sad one. Because this would have been my answer about 5 days ago.
Okay.
Anthony Davis was having an incredible redemption season.
He was.
If I was able to bet on Anthony Davis not being good this season, I would put $1 zillion on it. And then he came out and he was God. Almost single-handedly leading the Lakers back to maybe a play-in spot. And now he's injured for a month. what a tire fire that team is.
Yes.
All right, Anthony Davis, I love you. I drafted you in my fantasy keeper. I've had you forever. You've ruined many of my seasons, but I hope you get better soon.
Me too. He's in one of my fantasy leagues as well, and I'm pretty sure he was the reason I was in first. Yeah, I mean, injuries suck, and I think he's had a lot of weird ones too. So, it's hard to say he's like injury prone, but it's also hard not to, right? Because he's just constantly injured.
Oh, he's injury prone.
Yeah. But man, he had some like just absolutely, I mean, statistically insane games, but I think just a type of dominance few other players can ever hit in their career. And I think this season, small handful of players have even kind of like hit that territory.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis redemption, hopefully, maybe, not a sad ending, and he comes back and continues the redemption.
I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah. Lakers fans, how you doing? Dan, what's up? Who's your redemption player?
I'd have to say probably Zion.
Yes, great answer.
I mean, because everyone was like, he's so out of shape, and like everyone was just being so hard on him, and like releasing all these pictures, and it's just like, I don't know, I felt so bad for him. And then this year he comes in, and it's just like immediately everyone's talking about him like he's the player everyone always thought he was, and it's like, oh, no one's like making a big deal out of like how stupid they were, but you know what I mean. But they're like, oh yeah, of course he's good. And it's like, no, not of course. You all said he was a fat loser like 2 months ago, and now he's playing well, and no one said he would.
Are you insinuating that the average fan is not accountable with their wild takes? Yeah.
I'm just saying I know a lot of bird trainers that were like, this guy's never coming back. Sorry. Okay.
Man, Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say with like I have a special kind of thing for Utah too.
Yeah, as a team.
Yuta Watanabe.
Oh my God, sorry. Yes.
But that's just just because I like him, and I'm happy he's doing better.
Hey, no, that's also a great pick, because he didn't get like I was surprised we didn't bring him to camp. Like we didn't even get a chance to make our team. It was just like, no, we're moving on from you. And he's a rotation player for a team that's doing really well, and just like has this like historic. He's having this like type of historic shooting season. So really, really hard worker too. I miss Yuta Watanabe quite a bit. Great player. I'm so happy for him. Like just goes to show you how much talent there is in the league.
And especially getting dunked on that hard, you want a guy to redeem himself.
Oh my God, yeah, the Anthony Edwards dunk. That was a dunk for the ages. But also, I mean, I always got to say this: you don't get dunked on that hard unless you are a fearless shot blocker. Like many people are just nowhere near that.
I was with you, but I'm zagging on this. If you get dunked on, you shouldn't have been up there.
Wow. Okay. So Adam,
people, this whole take that if you get dunked on, you're this hero who tried to block a shot. No, you know what you are? You're a clown.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, Adam's coming for you. Are you a shot blocker who gets dunked on? You're a clown. Don't even try. And that's the way of Bargnani.
Bargnani never got dunked on.
That's right. Bargnani, he actually did. But, he tried to not be in the vicinity of a layup. So he worked hard. Il Mago, so many talents. Check his Insta.
Does he have one?
He did at one point, and he listed like 9 things that he did. Like DJ, wedding planner,
planner.
artist, magician. He was awesome. It was like, I didn't realize like he was basically like, it was cool. It was like, oh man, this guy really does a lot of shit.
Bird trainer. He was training birds.
Yeah, bird trainer, but he can actually get him to come back, hop on a branch. Okay. Mine. So he's not having his best statistical season, but sort of in a similar narrative way, and he's actually had okay years the past couple years, but this is by far his best effective field goal percentage year. And also just playing against him as a Raptor fan, I was really appreciating his arc, and that's Markelle Fultz. Certain players, right? Anthony Bennett, Kwame Brown, Markelle Fultz. That first overall pick can be so deadly, and the pressure is just awful. And I remember the conversation with Fultz. He has the yips. He'll never be able to shoot again. He's shooting like 46% from three. Short sample size, like 11 games or something. But I think he's a part of the solution in Orlando. And one of my favorite things in the NBA is seeing a player that's been completely discounted for whatever reason, kind of produce at a high level and be part of a winning situation, because it's hard and it's got to be rough to get be in the spotlight and overly critiqued like that. So shout out to Fultz. That's my pick. I think that does it for the regular questions, but we're going to do a bonus question. Maddie D, I will get you to come in and participate in this question as well. So just to remind everyone, Dan used chat GPT chat, which is the software taking the world by storm. You kind of, what's the best way to describe? You coach an AI to give you an answer or construct an answer that is similar to what you're looking for.
Yeah, you can ask an AI questions and give it parameters to answer those questions so that it answers in a way that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. The AI answered all of my questions. And we have some pretty good highlights here. I'll let y'all go first. I can go last here. Let's go to you first. Dan, out of the questions that I asked, what is your favorite sentiment or your favorite answer given by the AI?
Well, like the AI, if you read the answers, like mostly gave pretty decent answers, and I was surprised.
Yeah.
But the one I like the best is the one that it just answered like so crappily, which is the third question, which is the tunnel routine question.
Yes.
And because it just said like, it didn't really give any kind of answer to this. It just said Milwaukee's a good team. And so like they should probably have an energetic tunnel routine that like helps them be energized. And it's like, yeah, I mean, every team you could say that about. It was very unspecific. And that's kind of the type of answer I would expect from an AI, which is why those other answers seem so good.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It definitely seems like it's like if someone was chatting to you like that, like they added you to like Messenger or Insta or whatever, you would follow up with saying, "Are you a bot?"
Right.
And
but
they
it's
would
like
say,
it's like kind of like when
no
you
bot.
don't do the book report. It's like it answered it like it didn't do a book report. It's like
Mhm.
it's like instead of talking about like the plot of the book, it's like books are a great way to pass time and fall asleep. You can turn the pages and there's words that make sentences, and you're like, yeah, okay.
Wait, should we has the audience heard any of these answers?
They haven't heard them all, but when you select your favorite thing, Matt's putting it up on the screen. So
okay.
If you're checking YouTube, but yeah, just for people listening in audio, yeah, maybe that's a good idea, Adam. I'll read the. So yeah, the for my tunnel question, the answer was, if I had to pick a team for a tunnel routine, I would suggest that the Milwaukee Bucks do a pregame dance routine to get themselves pumped up before every game. The Bucks have a talented and energetic roster, and a fun and energetic pregame routine could help them get into the right mindset for the game. So yeah, very generic, very vague, but also, technically answering the question in a very uncreative way. Adam, you are next. What is your favorite AI answer?
Well, God, these are so bizarre. They're so boring that they could be like an analyst on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to insult any Raptors journalists. I think number 4 because they answer Chris Paul the bounce back They answer Chris Paul and James Harden, which is pretty good. That's a good answer.
Yeah, that was this was mine as well. I have a backup, but yeah, I'll read it for those listening.
Although they say
Sorry.
another player who has had a strong redemption year is James Harden of the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just read that. AI busted.
AI? Clown.
Oh, you got him.
You're going to go to a Raptors podcast? You don't know who James Harden plays for? Clown. Smug clown.
The AI doesn't have access to the internet and only has information up to last season.
Yeah.
This is
It
the
only
part
has
of
a
the
copy
movie.
of NBA 2K20.
This is the part of the movie where the AI's face starts to droop.
Yeah, it's
and
like,
we're all.
It's like Lakeith Stanfield in Get Out when he starts to get the nosebleed.
That's right. Yeah. We are officially in the uncanny valley. And the robot revolution's coming. I will read the answer for everyone listening. So yeah, obviously the question redemption year. So the answer is there are several players who are having a strong redemption year so far in the 2021-22 NBA season. One player who stands out to me is Chris Paul of the Phoenix Suns after struggling with injuries and declining performance in recent years. Well, that's not really true, but Paul has bounced back in a big way this season, leading the Suns to the top of the Western Conference and earning himself a spot on the All-Star team. I guess that's also, I don't know if that's happened yet, but another player who has had a strong redemption year is James Harden of the Brooklyn Nets, who has helped. The end.
Who has helped?
Okay, Maddie.
Actually, these are. I don't know why I picked that. These are bad answers. Like Chris Paul's having a worse season than he did last year. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's been fairly injured. Also, the Phoenix Suns are not atop of the. It's okay. Has helped James Harden. Maddie, who's your what's your answer? And I'll just invite you to read it out as well since I'm doing that anyways.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go with the second one when it's asking about the darkest time as a Raptors fan. Because it makes sense. And I think you guys have also talked during the episode that this was a tough season. And it says that as a fan of the Toronto Raptors, my darkest time was probably during the 2013-14 season when the team struggled to a 34-48 record and missed the playoffs. It was a frustrating year for the team and its fans as the Raptors struggled to find consistent success and failed to build on the progress they had made in previous seasons. Now, it's also when did you become a fan, though? Because I feel like the AI could have dug a little deeper. They had some very bad early seasons.
We played in the Sky Dome.
16 wins, and
the AI's answers are perfect.
But it does feel like a little more nuanced that they picked that one. They didn't go quite as deep as they could, but they're like, yeah, that's, that was what, year 2 or 3 of Kyle, like that.
Yeah, I'm sort of surprised too that it didn't maybe say that when Scotiabank got rid of Sorta Shawarma, it was a rough time because so many people wanted hot lettuce. Mine, I'll go with the first one here, which I think maybe I'll read it out. Yeah, it seems like the most kind of comprehensive answer, maybe. So, reflecting on what Bobby and Masai might do with the recent losing streak, it is difficult to predict exactly how Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster will respond to the current losing streak of the Raptors. However, it is likely that they will examine the team's performance and make adjustments as needed in order to try to turn the situation around. This could involve making changes to the lineup, implementing new strategies, or making personnel changes. Ultimately, the goal will be to find a way to get the team back on track and competing at a high level. So, very company speak.
Yeah, very company speak. Didn't say anything.
Yeah, it also said, what will Bobby and Masai do? Anything you can think of. It sort of grabbed every possibility.
It would really impress me if you asked the AI and the AI was just like, what is Koloko doing on the floor? Send Koloko to the G League.
Yeah.
Malachi Flynn needs to pass the ball.
I will say I've read a lot of these AI not just but like in general, this software. If I'm, on the development team for the next software, I'm like, okay, main adjustment. We got to get this thing to be way pettier. Because that's a major human trait.
Yeah.
Weird petty shit. That you want people to believe it. Be like, yeah, I don't like whatever Jamal McGlure on the bench. Like when he cups his hands, he yells too loud or whatever. By the way, I love that. But guys, that's the pod. We had some bonus AI questions here. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Adam. Maddie D somehow has avoided being called a clown. Congratulations. But before we kind of sign off here, let me go to you first. Dan, what's going on? What do you want to tell people about? Where can they check you up?
You can go to dangalea.ca and check out some videos and stuff like that. And look out for my debut album, Interdimensional, coming soon.
Great name. I'm glad that the album is far long enough for you to be able to plug it. I'm very excited for it. Interdimensional, huge. Adam, what's up? What are you doing? What do you want to plug?
I'd just like to announce that my answer in the AI question, calling Chris Paul a bounce back player, misinformed. And for that, I have to agree with the guy on the burner account. I'm a clown.
Wow. What a full
What an arc. Yeah.
Adam, if you're checking in the YouTube, is crying hard. Adam, I'm so sorry for that you're a clown. I, in fact, am a clown, a proud one. I always laugh that it's used as an insult. I like being a clown, but yeah. Adam, too, is a clown. Maddie D, let's tell people what they need to know. Maybe we could, we didn't talk about this before, but touch on some scheduling stuff too, right?
Yeah, I was going to get to that. Perfect. So let's start. This is our last episode of the year. We're taking next week off for the holidays. So thank you for listening and supporting this year. We'll continue season 10 just after the Pacers play the Raptors on January 2nd. So I think we'll be back on the 4th. And then we're going to be off again because Freddie is going on a much deserved honeymoon that got postponed week 1 of the pandemic. So he's going to be gone for a couple weeks and they finally get to have that. So we'll be beginning at January and then at the end of January, and then we'll be back to regular in February. And speaking of February, we are told to promote this. There is a live Raptors Republic show at the Rivoli Tuesday, February 7th at 6 p.m. at the Rivoli on Queen Street. There's links on raptorsrepublic.com. The tickets are $20. They include a drink. And if you pay for that paywall, you're an all-star and you'll get the ticket for $10. So if you're looking for a late Christmas gift, $6 a month for the paywall, and also go to raptorsrepublic.com. We've got a ton of merch and stuff, sweaters, toques, Nick Nurse calendar, all kinds of stuff going on there. So you can, get some late Christmas gifts in. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll put the full episode up on YouTube since we're not going to be around next week. So a little more extra content for the watchers out there. And that's pretty much it. Thank you. Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Maddie D, for a great year. And thanks for everyone listening, supporting. And I'll add, support Raptors Republic. And Catherine's Nick Nurse calendar is amazing. I'll be at the event too, so make sure you head there. It's going to be a good time. Pretty stacked cast. Cool. We will see you in the new year. Hopefully, there hasn't been a panic trade, or if you want a panic trade, I am rooting against you. But cool. Thanks so much, everyone. And Maddie, if you feel like we're done and we're good to go, please just say the words I love so much. Okay.
Listen to full episodes of the Confederacy of Dunks only on the Rapcast.